STPL. Hello guys and welcome to the STPL Season 3. We made it. It's been a long break since Season 2. The Zerg in the Soul Showcase is Zealot. But essentially we're here for Season 3. I didn't think we'd make it this far. Season 1 was a little bit long and I thought, well, people are going to lose interest, but then Season 2 happened. Did pretty well. Everyone seemed to enjoy playing in it. And now we're back for another season. This time we've added another sponsor. So before we get started with anything, a massive thank you to our sponsors Liquipedia and now Esport Fund as well. Thanks to both of them, we have $1,000 in the prize pool to begin with a $2,000 goal. Marky Mark donated $100 on Matrino as well, so thank you very much to him. We're already up to $1,200 of our $2,000 goal for Season 3, and hopefully we'll be able to reach it by the end of our 15-16 week journey. But today we'll have a quick look at the format. The games and the matches are best of 5. The games are obviously best of 1. Set 1 and 4. The lineups are selected in advance. All games are played at the same time, so that's why we always watch all 4 games, because when the games are being played, they don't know the outcome. That's just to obviously save people a little bit of time. Set 5 is the ace match, and if you've watched the STPL before, you'll know that that means teams can send out any player they want that has played previously. So, and sometimes they'll send someone out who wasn't there, but that's very, very rare. The maps will have this season a Hitchhiker, Monte Orlesi, Core Breach, Tripod, Andromeda, Byzantium 3, Fancy 2, and La Mancha. Now if you're wondering what Core Breach is, Core Breach is in a Coven, but it's the newest version. It didn't make it into the ASL in time, but Freaklink sent it to us to use here. I believe he also sent it to BWCL, but I'm not sure if they're using it or not. But it's great to have you all here. We're finally here for Season 3. A lot of the stuff will look the same as the end of Season 2, just because it's not possible to change everything all the time. And you know what? I was quite happy with how the end of Season 2 looked. I have added a score above me, so that makes it a little bit easier to follow along with what's going on if you're outside of the game. And I've obviously added the new bar underneath here as well, which isn't much, but it's okay. It's honest work. But let's jump straight in. First of all, let's have a look at the player rankings as we start off. It's pretty much, well, it's obviously the same at the end of Season 2. Avilov has unfortunately retired from playing from Rev and playing in tournaments in general. So he is still going to hold on to the 9th spot, but most likely not for very long. He should drop off slowly but surely as his ELO will not increase again. A little bit unfortunate to see Avi going, but Scan, Noob, Kogut, Famasi, Eon Zerg, DeWalt, Spire, Tai2, and Yeti holding up the top spots. Now, Eon hasn't actually found another team yet, I think, for the STPL, so unfortunately he is probably going to be dropping down. And Cadenzi, if you want to replace Avi, you need to actually get to that high ALO, which is tough. He did really well to get that far. Avi, is Avi going to play Warcraft 3? I don't know if he is. I think he's just retiring from tournament play for now. I don't think he would leave Rev and I don't think he has left Rev, it's just he won't be playing in clan leagues. But let's have a look at our two teams here. Starting us off, first of all, is going to be DM. Now, DM, if you read my preview, will know essentially... I know you can't, Cadenzi. DM, they're one of the weaker teams statistically. They've not had the best of results. They did make it early on in Season 1 into the playoffs a couple of... I think they made it a couple of times, actually. Their players individually do pretty well as well. But overall, DM certainly one to look out for in Season 3. And their opponents are going to be Valhalla Team. Valhalla Team came third in... No, sorry, they came fourth? I need to double check. How have I forgotten where they came? I think they came third in Season 2. I'm just going to double check Liquipedia. By the way, Liquipedia... Yeah, they did. They come third in Season 2, beating IRK in the third and fourth place match. Shows how long it's been. But essentially, VT have got a brand new set of players here that haven't played in the STPL before. Now, I did mention that I was going to explain why. Let's head on to the lineup screen while I do that. Essentially, Valhalla Team got the time mixed up due to daylight savings time changing since everyone last played. They didn't turn up on time. They turned up actually an hour later. At least their captain did. But their players didn't turn up until 1800, so DM were in a position where they could have accepted a full walkover, but rather than do so, they did decide to play the clan war a little bit later, but it meant because of how late it was in Korea and how last minute it was, we had DM mixing out a few players because a lot of them stayed awake for ASL, and also VT had to find some other players as well. So I think for the most part, we've actually got a completely different roster from what was initially there. I think the only players that stayed were Tech and Chi, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But either way, a great set of players to start us off. We've actually got a lot of Protoss today. So if you're a Protoss fan, we've got a PvT, a PvP, and a PvZ, as well as a ZVZ on Inner Coven, which should be amazing. We'll introduce Tech. We won't introduce She because we've not actually seen them play yet. But Tech, I called him the ultimate ace in Season 1. In Round 1 and 2, he did an incredible job. He had more ace wins than any other player. If he came out in the ace match, it was almost guaranteed at that point that DM were going to be able to win the series. I don't know if it's due to the maps or due to other reasons, but Tech kind of dropped off throughout the end of Season 1, and in Season 2 he kept getting really difficult opponents, so he did do a little bit better towards the end of Season 2, as you can see from his match history, but he's definitely a dark horse of the competition. Cadenzi saying that ever since he lost to her, he's been cursed. But your curses are unordained. She is the Valhalla team player. Can't really go into them too much, but they are going to be showing their debut game in the STPL today. Now we're going to take a look at our first map of Week 1 and our first map of Season 3. It's going to be Andromeda, one of my favourite macro maps. It used to be very good for Protoss, but these days it's a little bit better for all of the races. Andromeda, I call it a macro map because there is an in-base mineral only. There is a very easy to take natural as well. So by taking your natural, you're pretty much securing 3 bases. The third gas is a little bit harder to take because it is a little bit out there. A lot of the time you'll see players take another main if they can, because you can defend that with a small ramp. But you can also go to the left and right hand sides of the map to take the bases in the middle, as well as the 12 and 6 o'clock island bases, which can be quite a good choice for both Terran and Protoss if they go for dropships early on. Really useful to get those as quick as you can. Now, we are going to get started with Season 3. This is our debut game in Season 3 as well, so hopefully everything will go as expected. It's going to be Tech versus She here on Andromeda. Okay, starting us off here in the top right-hand position, as something has gone wrong. It's going to be Tech fighting as our Protoss player in the magenta for DM. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner is the Yellow Terran fighting for Valhalla team. It is She from South Korea. Now, the problem I did mention is something I'm going to very quickly fix while we pause the replay. Just going to throw it up to the... Let's throw it back to me, I guess. Essentially, the problem is we have no sound, so I need to quickly fix that. One of the fun things about this is always getting things wrong to begin with. Let's see if this works. Even I can't hear the sound, so let's quickly reload Brood War. And we'll do it that way. Cadenti asking people to help poke Lottie's eyes. Don't poke Lottie's eyes. Also, Arota cheering for Red, even though Red aren't playing today. Maybe wrong day, but if that's actually a point. So we actually have a cheerful, well, not a contest, but like a cheerful submission thread on Team Liquid now. So if you do want to submit a cheerful like Arota has, at the bottom of the team, bottom of the thread there, you can. And when it comes to the games where those players or things will be playing, I will play them. So let's quickly reload the game. Hopefully, I've got everything set now. Just going to double check all of my audio properties. Looks like we're good to go. One of the fun things of casting is always waiting for the first thing to go wrong. It's all good though. We'll just get the audio back up. As Tasteless always used to say, what was it? Technology is the vehicle of esports. Like, that's what it is. Hopefully you guys can hear the in-game sound now. Which means it's working, and it means as soon as I've rehosted the replay, we can get straight back in there. Here we go. Just quickly doing this for you. Hopefully you guys have all had a good time in the break. It's been a while since I've been casting, so forgive me. It's always fun to come back after a little bit. I've been working hard to try and make everything work, which is always good. I've also been writing a little bit. I did that preview on Team Liquid, set up the cheerful submission thread as well, and did some other stuff. So this is looking to be a good season. We've got a lot of really good teams, got really great sponsors, and that sponsorship is not going to happen in Videntia, but thankfully we have the wonderful sponsorship of both Liquipedia and Esport Fund, as well as Matcherino, who have given us those 250-cent codes to put in. So let's head over to the game and let's get started. Okay, as I mentioned before, starting in the top right-hand corner in the magenta as the Protoss player fighting for DM from Chile, it's Tech. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner fighting for Valhalla team in the yellow, it's She. Now TVP on this map, very much, or very likely going to be a macro game here. There are some cheeses you can do, but as we can see, Tech hasn't sent a probe out to build a pylon in the middle of the map to build 2 gateways. The fact you can defend so easily on just 2 bases to get your 3rd mineral only is pretty good. If we zoom out a little bit, you'll notice there is this droppable location behind the natural. I suppose it's better to look at this on the Protoss side. You can drop some tanks up here, tank down the gas, and some of the minerals are in range of siege tanks from up here. There's also this area which you can hide a lot of buildings in. It's good fighting Tech. You can also drop up here and run into the main. You've got the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock island bases. And there's also this base in the middle. There's not too many minerals. It's such a weird number as well. It's like 749 and 750. You also got double gas in the middle, like on Fighting Spirit. It looks like we've got She going for a gas opening here. Gas opening pretty good. Tech going for gas as well. Likely going to go for a core into range. Everything's looking pretty much as expected in a TVP early game. Now, due to how open the middle of this map is, it's actually quite difficult for Terran to push through the middle. So it can be quite problematic. Protoss definitely have a little bit of an edge here in the mid to late game. Early game pushes can be pretty strong for Terran, but it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing that from She. There is... Actually, She is not going to pull off of gas, so this could be a 2-factory opening here. No, there we go. So pulling off on 100 gas. Not the most common way of doing it. You would normally pull off 88 just to get your factory up a little bit quicker. But everything's looking pretty good. The supply depot coming into wall in against any zealot pressure. But Tech is playing as standard as you possibly can. Obviously the core is spinning. Range is on the way. Dragoons are on the way as well, and it's just one gate. Now, Tech is continuing to mine gas. You can do this and still expand as Protoss. Tech, very well known in the STPL for going for a lot of kind of macro plays, so I would get the feeling we're not going to see any crazy one-base tech from him. Very likely to expand around 28, and that's obviously one of the more common expansion timings in PvT. Now, She is actually playing this quite brazenly, going for the command center on the low ground with only a single Marine. If Tech scouts this and gets him with the Dragoon, this could be a lot of early damage to be taking. Thank you, FakeFin, for the sub. Thanks, man. That means a lot. 5 months. And here we go. The Dragoon coming in. Gonna get the Marine. The Marine is not going to be able to get into the bunker. This bunker may as well be cancelled. There are no Marines. There's one on the way. And the bunker does finish. But if this Dragoon gets on the ramp, there's going to be no Marines getting into that bunker. And custom music began a little bit earlier, yes, because of summertime. And here we go, the Dragoon taking a little bit of damage from these SCVs. It does take a lot of shots from a Dragoon to kill those, but the Vulture out in the middle of the map gonna cause a few problems. Mines are now on the way. They're not too late, but it does feel a little bit later than maybe you'd want to. But let's have a look what's going on back at Tech Space. 28 Nexus was the order of the day. Second gateway coming in as well. And a Robo. Now this could be for Obs. This could be for Reaver as well. But it's going to be kind of annoying. Obviously the Vulture can't really do any damage. But it can place some mines to the expansions, forcing some observers to go over there and clean those up. But the mines haven't yet finished. The armory, no, the academy is on the way, sorry. No armory just yet. Second base up and running. And let's just do that in chat. But Nexus is up and running as well. Everything looking pretty standard. Now, of course, this is our first game on Andromeda of the season. We are going to see most likely a lot of games across the season. There's 5 best of 5s each week, as we do have 11 teams, one team taking a bye every week. So this week it's Red, and next week Net Wars are not going to be playing, so that should be cool. I'm going to be announcing the lineups for week 2 tonight once I'm done with the cast, so if you're interested in who's playing who, there is a full schedule on TL as well as all of the lineups and everything, so you can also check the casting dates for all of the other weeks and also all of this week's matchup. Observers are out. The mines have not been used to block the bases as I thought they may do. They are just going to be put in the middle of the map. This is going to be really easy for Tech to come and clean up if he wants to. But you can already see that Tech is getting ready to defend this area, killing the power generator, making sure that dropships are not going to be a problem. Now She is going to build something over here on the right hand side of their base. This can be a really good place to put a starport if you want to. Now the starport would be the sensible option here, given the fact it is only one factory, but a third command center coming in immediately, both players actually going up to a very quick 3 base here. And that just means, essentially, we are going to go straight into the macro game, well, straight into the late game as well. It's kind of like a boost, an acceleration to the pace of the game. Now, this will eventually be cleaned up, and we will see Tech be able to get there. Make sure to build some units. Now, the SCV still hasn't built anything. The Observer is going to get in the base. Second factory is on the way with +1. Engineering bay coming in as well for turrets. Very important you can do that. Now Tech is going to go for an incredibly fast 4 base. Now knowing your opponent has just built 2 CCs going up to 3 base can give you this present, I guess, of being able to get a quick 4th base. It gets you a quick 3rd gas. The Terran player you've just scouted is only on 2 factories, which means it's very unlikely they're going to be pushing over the next couple of minutes. Now, obviously, Terran does have the option of adding on a bunch of factories at once and going mass Vulture, mass Tank, but that takes a while to kick in, so Tech definitely in a good position in the start of this game. Dragoons being used to defend this Nexus, not only to stop it being scouted, but also stopping the probe from being taken down. Now, looks like she is going to be scanning for Tech. Now, she actually didn't scan the expansion, so she knows there's a robo and observatory, and completely misses the Tech down here, which is going to be Arbiter Tech. Arbiter Tribunal coming in, double forge from Tech, so Tech is going immediately for a ton of upgrades here in order to try and counteract the Terran's quick armory. Obviously upgrades do scale a little bit better for Protoss, but can look pretty good. Now Tech adding on a bunch of gateways here, going up to 6, 7, 8 gateways now, 9 gateways from Tech. Now usually this could be a little bit dangerous. Now that Vulture is going to see that there is a base here, but not going to see anything. The scans coming in, checking the gateway count, but still not finding any of that Tech, which is kind of ironic given the fact it's only seen Tech here. But she has found the base over on the right-hand side. Doesn't know how long it's been mining for, but obviously seeing that the mineral only was taken. There is some really weird noises coming from outside, but there we go. Now we've got an additional 3 factories coming up. 9 factory, very normal on 3 base, but you of course do need to worry about your gas count, which is going to be low as a Terran, where you can't get a 3rd gas. So let's see how she is going to play this out. I've never seen she play before. Going for a very late starport here, actually. +1 is already done, and the starport has not yet been built. Now that's actually a major issue when you're going against a Protoss that's going double upgrades. Now of course she does not know this, but Tech, if he can scout this with his observer, is going to be feeling very, very good about this, because everything is pointing towards Tech having an insurmountable advantage as we get in this game. Now Tech, a little bit behind on workers compared to she. She should realistically stop producing SCVs, and it looks like they have. But is she going to try and expand? Yes, they are. Going to the 9 o'clock location. Going to send vultures around that still do not actually have speed even. Given the fact all this extra gas went into those factories. Speed and +2. Very, very late this game. And while we are accelerating to the late game, this could be a little bit problematic. Now, Tech does need to be careful. Because of course... Okay, so the Arbiter has been scanned, but the Tech and the upgrades have still not been seen. So this could lead she into a little bit of false security here. Now Tech hasn't actually opted to go for his 3rd gas just yet, which given the current situation is a little bit surprising, although already sitting at over 700 gas at the moment is Tech is not a major problem. Stasis is going to be the first port of call. Stasis isn't as strong on this map as it is on others. There's no major choky areas where the Terran is going to get choked up here, so it looks like she going to push forward. A big force coming out around 145 supply. It is +1 attack, but the upgrades from the Protoss player are about to finish. This is the anti-timing here for she to move forward. If Tech can hold on for just a couple of seconds here, these upgrades are going to finish, and this is going to be a heavily upgraded Protoss army. And here we go, looks like Tech's upgrades have finished. He pushes forward, the tanks spread very nicely, a big stasis in the middle, getting 3 of those tanks. The Zealots on top of everything. Xi's army is evaporating, the supply is plummeting, and Tech's is going up. Tech with so many gateways, so much money, and so much macro potential off of these 4 bases. So strong here, and it looks like Xi is going to try and pull back, but this is the problem in Andromeda. It's such a wide open map, you can't really rely on mines to stop counterattacks, but that doesn't stop Tech running into all of those mines. Now 2-2 is on the way, +2 attack, about a third of the way done here for our Terran player. And when you've got Protoss going for 2-2, this is a little bit risky, but here we go. Looks like the Vulture's going to come out and try and engage this. There's not that many Dragoons. It is a lot of Vultures sitting here with a lot of Zealots that aren't really going to do too much. The Remax from Tech, not as fast as maybe I thought it would be. The Panda Bear guy getting in the way there a little bit, but here come the Vultures to try and stop any reinforcements. And if they cut the reinforcements off from the main, there's not actually that much back here defending. One of the Dragoons does go down. Mines at the front. Tech not moving with observers, gonna sacrifice a Dragoon here. Oh no, that mine. Oh, it goes off, does a ton of damage. Where are the observers for Tech? He didn't lose any, but looks like Tech is going to expand to a 5th base. This is very close to the Terran. Maybe better to take the other main, but that will give Tech the option of going for those additional gateways very shortly. Now, oh my god, another mine hitting these Dragoons. This is not going to be feeling good for Tech. Looks like the Terran player back up to around 150 supply, slowly rebuilding that tank count, but this is a ton of Vultures and a ton of mines, so as long as Tech controls this correctly, as long as Tech moves forward with an observer, we should see a relatively quick and swift push onto this 4th base, but the 5th base is going to find itself under fire. Looks like Tech going to try and fight his way back to defend it, but there's so many mines in the way, it's going to be so difficult to make its way through. But I mean, the Vultures aren't going to kill the Nexus. It's going to be very difficult for that to happen. The mines are getting cleaned up, but while Tech is coming to deal with this, Xi is getting a 5th base in the top left-hand corner. Tech still has not scouted this 9 o'clock base, preparing maybe overly too much against these Vultures. Looks like we are going to have the Dragoons finally making their way into this base. Is this Nexus going to go down? Is this Vulture going to die to a probe? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. Looks like the Nexus is going to go down. The probe gets a kill. What a hero, but not the hero we need, as the Nexus does go down. Looks like Xi is getting ready to push out now. 180 supply. The vessel has been stasis though. That's actually a massive moment. Now +3 is not on the way yet. +1 armor is. So it's going to be 2-1 eventually. But Tech is up at 2-2 now. Upgrades just finishing. Arbiter energy coming in. And look at the unit movement from Xi. This is very clever, moving up to the top left to try and zone out the army. But here we go, recall in the main. The Arbiter does go down, but Xi is going to have so much trouble getting back here. This supply depot, used for walling earlier, going to be causing so many problems. But still, there's no pressure on the Terran expansions while this is going on. I mean, a lot of Tech's units are just AFK here. Yes, we've had Xi pull all of their army back. But Tech needs to follow this up with something. You can't just sit there. Now, the good thing is the turrets have been cleaned up. Tech did see all of the army go back. Although this observer is going to go down, I'm kind of wondering what Tech's plan is here. Because the recall obviously didn't do too much. The Vultures are actually still up here, stopping any possible expansion. Expanding to the mineral only here is Tech. Xi up to 4 gases, sorry. And this is going to be a big problem, because with all of these mines showing exactly where the Protoss army is, Xi's unit movement back into the main there was pretty good. it's going to be tough. Now, this probe is going to go down to the bottom right. You can see this mine as well, scouting for this. And she is in such a good position to push this bottom right-hand corner. Now, obviously, Tech does have the upgrade advantage, not that it scales as well. But let's have a look at how this engagement goes. Is there going to be an EMP? Is there going to be a stasis? Looks like EMP is going to go down. No, the vessel pulls back. Stasis does come out. Tech still with a very good army. These zealots are not dying. There's no vultures up here whatsoever. The mine drag, oh! Not doing as much damage as I thought it would do to those tanks. But Tech is a little bit AFK with some of the units. Some units coming in from behind though. Another mine drag, another stasis. She losing another army of tanks here in the middle. Another mine. No, the mine actually dying to the zealot there. He's going to be able to clean that up. But Tech needs to attack the bases. He can't just trade with these armies in the middle of the map, because the longer the game goes on, the better this is going to be for She. A ton of factories have been produced here, 3 tanks at a time. 6 vultures as well, 3-2 upgrades are finally on the way here. +3 attack was very heavily delayed. And yes, losing those tanks was bad. But Tech is on technically less bases than our Terran player here, so this is problematic, but these vultures going to get the tanks. Another incredible stasis here at the front. There's no energy for EMP, although no, there was no EMP on these either. I mean, Tech is just fighting his way through here. He's not worrying too much about the expansions, just going to trade and kill the armies over and over again. Now 3-3 upgrades are not yet done. We're actually going for 2-3-1 with shield upgrades coming in for this. Now this is definitely good play by Tech to be able to take down all of these units. But as I said, Protoss is on a timer. The upgrades for Terran scale incredibly... Well, they scale much more better, is the better way to word that, than the Protoss upgrades, so there's going to be a problem. Looks like Tech going to be forced to pull back here. No zealots to save the day here with this big army. There's a lot of actual reinforcements coming in, but they are coming in kind of one by one. There's no zealots in production, I don't think, for Tech here as he tries to... I wouldn't say it's desperately get his Dragoon count back up, but he knows there's a lot of vultures. He knows there's a lot of mines. But look at this! She getting another base in the top left-hand corner. I don't think Tech knows about this. I think this is why he's never bothered going to check. And maybe with the thought, oh, here we go. We see the Observer finally going in for the first time in this game to check this left-hand base, and look at this. Tech immediately grabs all of his units. He's going to run straight through this minefield if he's not careful. Is there an observer? Yes, there is. Okay, there is an observer, but it's a little bit far back. Here we go. It's out in the front now. Now, these arbiters, the arbiter count is getting up and up. The stasis count is going to go up and up as well. And that's when things get a little bit problematic. But we've got tanks pushing up into this base. The cannons on the high ground doing a ton of work here, keeping these tanks back. Gonna kill them, actually. And finally we have the retreat and siege. But here we go. Is there an EMP? No, there is not. No EMP on these arbiters means there's going to be a ridiculous number of stasis here. She's army is evaporating once again. Looks like oh, Mine Drag's doing so much. Oh, this is not good. Sieging up on a minefield, not looking good whatsoever. So much friendly fire damage going down. We've actually got a probe scouting out that top left-hand base as well. 9 o'clock is gonna fall. Now, if I was to suggest anything for Tech here, I think a recall might be good here, but there is a lot of defense actually, so ignore me. Definitely should push further to the top left. One of the arbiters is finally going to go down, but there is another stasis. I wish we had some kind of stasis count in this game. So many units have been sat in little blue crystals the entire game. Now Tech is starting to pull further ahead. 3-2-1 is actually done. So +3 attack is done. +3 armor is on the way. Now I don't know if my mic's picking that up, but we're going back to like old Kix's house jail cell style ambience in the background here. But Tech's not going to the top left. Tech's I'm not sure why, but Tech just doesn't want to scout bases. Tech is going to find it by accident. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have the Terran pushing forward, trying to defend his top left-hand base. Maybe this will tip off. Tech a little bit on She's movements. Looks like She gonna pull back a little bit against the Zealots. But, oh, the money stasis. But he stasises his own observer. There's no other observer here, so the mines are gonna be a problem, although there's no mines remaining. Looks like we are gonna... Oh my god, this is gonna be a storm drop. This could be so strong, but look at this. Tech still doesn't know about top left. All Tech has to do is send a single thing up there, and it's pretty much game here for She, because She is mined out of his main, mined out of his natural, almost mined out of his second natural here, and the third base is only just now mining up, so this top right-hand base is all She has going for him, so... Oh no, Vulture's going to come down to this bottom right-hand base. The Nexus was actually killed. Looks like we do have a panic DT, well, not necessarily a panic DT, but a DT down here in the bottom right. It's not going to be enough to defend Tech's probes. And this is looking really good for She. She finally finds the... Sorry, Tech finally finds the top left-hand base. Now, Tech has a problem, because Tech needs to push the top right, or top left even. Tech cannot move to defend the bottom right-hand base, because if Tech moves down there, Tech's new base in the top left is gone. So it looks like we are going to have a stasis up here. Well, maybe not a stasis, but I really don't think a recall will be very good. Splitting off some units here, going to be very important. Now, we do have still... Oh my god, another vessel has been stasis once again, and the Goliaths as well. Now, as long as Tech can get all of his units in the right place, this is not looking good for She still. But once again, Tech is down on bases again. She obviously needs to expand. I mean, She at any point could have taken this island. It's not too difficult for Terran to take it. Obviously, Protoss could take theirs as well. What happened to the shuttle? We've still got it here. Oh, there's the EMP, but it's on the Arbiter that already used its energy. A little bit unfortunate there for She. But Tech is playing this out really well at the end of the day. Always taking the engagement. Oh, the mines! Not looking good. One of the vessels does come out of stasis. You can see the scale of this battle. An amazing battlefield here in the middle of the map. Looks like we're going to have Zealots running in. 3-2 upgrades are done for the Terran. So this is a very strong mech ball here. Spread on the tanks. Absolutely stellar. Storm not doing nearly as much as maybe as it could do. Where are the Zealots to soak up these hits? The Dragoons all turning to blue goo. And for the first time in a long time, She has taken a supply lead in this game. And She is actually ahead in workers as well. But looks like we are going to have this vessel coming out. Does it have energy for an EMP? No, it doesn't. We are going to have a stasis on the... Yeah, okay, stasis on the vessel. Here is another stasis. These stasis have got to be good. The stasis at the back going to hit 4 of those tanks. This is going to give Tech the ability to clean this up. Lots of Zealots coming in. There's actually a ton of mines here on those back tanks, but look how deep the siege line is. This is going to be so difficult to clear. Tech's top left-hand bases are going to be in trouble as soon as this stasis wears out. That was all of the army here for Tech. Tech is out of money. GG, well played. She wins the game. So all I can say there is it looks like maybe Tech got a little bit overconfident, didn't scout as much as Tech needed to. And when you don't scout, you get caught off by hidden bases. And the left-hand base went unscouted for about 10 minutes, I think it was. The top left got scouted right at the very end. That is crazy. Like, what a game by She. For She to win that, that is not an easy victory. Tech is going to feel disappointed with that loss, but did play incredibly well. Just needed to scout a little bit better. If he had stopped She from being able to take those bases on the top left, it would have been a completely different game. But that's going to give Valhalla team 1-0 lead. Now we're going to take a very quick break, and when we get back, we'll be here for game number 2. It's going to be, how have I forgotten already? It is going to be Quanwu versus Moray. It's going to be a PvP. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be between Quanwu here for DM. Now Quanwu hasn't played in the STPL for a very, very long time. If we actually look at when he last played, it was back in Season 1. And just to give you an example of how long ago that was, his last game was in 2018. Actually near the end of 2018, but that was still nearly 2 years ago, which is crazy. About a year and a half, I guess, if we're being pedantic. But didn't do too badly back then. I mean, he beat Praise and Herbmon, lost to Kingdom and Noob in PvP. PvP obviously not Quanwu's strong point at this point, but it is quite a difficult matchup to play, especially when you're up against the odds. Now, his opponent is going to be one of the more unknown players to Valhalla team for me. It's going to be Moray. Now, if anyone knows anything about Moray in chat, please let me know who they are. But essentially, making their debut here in the STPL due to a lot of last-minute subs in the series. So, hopefully, we're going to have a good PvP here. We're going to be heading on to the one, the only Hitchhiker. Now, Hitchhiker was actually used in Season 1 of the STPL. You can see just how few games were actually played on this, because we didn't have many weeks back then per round, and then we swapped the maps up. But we can see that PvP, we had 6 of them. It's a pretty good map for Protoss overall, I would say. In terms of PvP, we've had some really cool ones as well. It's been a while since I've seen them, but PvPs on this map can go quite long, as you can see from Radley and Oya's one. So hopefully we're going to get a good PvP over here. It's always fun to see nice long PvPs, but sometimes it can be good to see short games as well. Let's see how it's going to be as we get into Moray versus Quanwu here on Hitchhiker. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have someone who's doing something a little bit cheeky here in the blue, I guess this is, fighting for Valhalla team from South Korea. It's Moray. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner with no idea currently what is heading his way. It's going to be Quanwu fighting for DM from Chile, from the USA. And yeah, Shad, STPL's back. Now here we go, we see the probe proxying a pylon in the middle of the map. We'll obviously have to keep an eye out what this is going to be. Of course, it's going to be a gateway. Is it going to be one gateway, or is it going to be 2? Or is it going to be a forge for a cannon rush? Now Quanwu was actually scouting there for his ramp to see if a probe was coming into his main. But doesn't quite see it. Now Quanwu is actually going to be gateway scouting, which is a little bit late. But let's see if Quanwu sees it. Oh my god. Oh, he sees the pylon! It was misplaced! Quanwu knows there is a proxy gate. Wow, Moray actually really, really bold here, expecting his opponent not to scout. I think Quanwu might be a Korean American, I'm not too sure. It's been a long time since we've seen him, but here we go. Double gateway, count them 1, 2, in the middle of the wall, in his opponent's base essentially, on 9 supply. Now Quanwu has seen it, he's going for his own 2 gates. Is this Bisu versus Best on Hitchhiker? Are we going to have like some crazy Zealot micro with shield batteries? I'm not so sure. But we've got it. Oh my god, we've actually got a pylon coming in here to get the battery on the high ground. This really is a replay of Best versus Bisu. Wow. Let's see how this is going to go. But looks like Moray's probe is going to get into the main. There is another pylon coming up here from Quanwu to try and get the shield battery a little bit closer. And now obviously the probe in the opponent's base is not going to be able to do too much. The first Zealot is going to be out at the same time here for Quanwu, chasing down the probe, doing the best job it can to keep that probe away from building a shield battery, but now has to wait for those Zealots coming in. What a great PvP to start us off with. Shield battery for both sides on the low ground. The probe helping out. Probe from Mori has gone down, so no additional shield batteries will be created in the making of this game, but the Zealot micro has been perfectly even on both sides now. The health of both doing really well. It is going to be 3 versus 3, but we do have the shield batteries coming in. Full shields on all of the Zealots now, thanks to those. And Quanwu is going to be holding on for his life. Does have the probe advantage. Moray is going to send a probe down here. But looks like we are going to have the Zealots coming in extra here for Moray. Quanwu getting a good couple of hits. The shield barrier, though, coming in clutch. Keeping that Zealot alive at the very, very last second. Now, this is an incredibly close game. We've got a second shield barrier coming up here in view of Quanwu. Obviously, the more shield barrier you have, or the more shield barriers you have, the more shield barrier energy. Now, if you usually watch StarCraft 2, shield barriers in this game are not automatic. You have to cast them manually. You have to target the unit as well, and it's very tough to do it in the heat at the moment. But it looks like we are going to have 6 versus 6. We do have Quanwu with a little bit of extra Zealot health, and obviously he will have the Concave at the top of the ramp. But let's have a look at what Quanwu's going to do. Oh my god, cannons coming in. What a clever decision to go for cannons at the end of that. You can see that Moray needs to get up the ramp. He's going to go in. He wants to cancel this cannon. The cannon finishes. He loses the game. This is a very clutch moment here. Shield barrier going off for both players. I'm losing my voice. Quanwu moved a little bit too far forward there. Very problematic here. Doesn't want to lose anything, but look at the shield barrier micro from both players here. Lots of Zealots. One of them finally falls. The second one about to fall as well. The shield barrier energy is about to run out, and here we go. Quanwu has held on, but Moray is catching up with probes here. Both players still going for a crazy amount. Looks like the cannon going to target down one of those shield batteries here. It looks like Quanwu may have done it. As long as Quanwu continues to macro up behind this, he's going to be in a good position. But looks like we are going to have the Zealots coming down the ramp. Doesn't want to get caught. You can still lose the game here. But the cannon is under fire from the... Oh my god, if the cannon gets the pylon, this is pretty much game over. Looks like Quanwu wants to take the fight. He knows there's no shield barrier energy. He's getting an amazing engagement at the front. The probe soaking up a few of those hits there. Going to go down, but looks like he's done it. Quanwu has taken down Moray here in this incredible PvP. And that cannon, or the pylon, is about to go down. And with that, Moray is going to have no more units. Quanwu is going straight for the main. He knows he's got the Zealot advantage. He knows there is no way for Moray to get into his base at this point. And all that's left is absolute victory here. And we'll have to see how that goes. But you can see Quanwu even splitting off some Zealots here to try and defend against this. A probe coming out to try and block this with a set of pylons. But it's too little, too late. The Zealots are going to get into the completely undefended main. Double gateways coming up. If Moray can hold on to this, it will be an absolute miracle. The probes being drilled, doing the best they can. The single Zealot is going to come back here and fight 6 of them from his opponent. Moray doing his best here to try and hold on, but Quanwu with an incredible victory there over Moray in game number 2. Now, I will say, I didn't expect to get a PvP as cool as that. It is our second game in the STPL Season 2, so good going, Quanwu. His first game since Season 1, that was over a year and a half ago. WW, I think, is where the G key is for Koreans. Like, they use the G character for GG, if I remember rightly. Custom use can say, yeah, it's where the Hangul signs for GG are, yeah. Either way, 1-1, tied up as we can see up here. I'll be back in a few minutes, so I just need to get a drink to like rest my voice after those 2 games. And we'll get going from there. So see you guys very soon. One thing I will say, we've still got the old break videos. I need to make some more. So if you're wondering why they say Season 2 on them, that's why. See you guys soon. STPL does. Bio TVP. Wow! You got it. STPL does. Mass Scouts? No problem. Broadcast 3 nights a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2100 CEST. Fantastic casting, fantastic production, fantastic prizes. Only here on the STPL. Did you know Reavers could be this radical? How did these lings even get here? All I know is that's one dead base. STPL does. Wraiths, Valkyries, Carriers, and Corsairs. Forget about it. You won't see that anywhere else. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. STPL does. DT's doing game-ending damage? Name a more iconic duo. We've even got carriers in PvZ. How amazing! A global team league on the scale you've never seen before. Don't see this in BWCL, STPL does. All that and more, only on this amazing 64-bit STPL. What BWCL don't. Impressed? I know I am. Why not support us on the link below? Patreon.com/kicks. But act fast. It's a limited offer. STPL does. Bio TVP. Wow! You got it. STPL does. Mass Scouts? No problem. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3 between DM Clan and Valhalla team. Yeah, we've still got the STPL2 break videos because I spent so long building everything else that I didn't get time to make break videos, so it's all good. Rapid is sleeping. He had 2 incredibly long days of BSL, so I can only assume he's asleep right now. I wouldn't have asked him to cast anyway, just given the fact he was casting to like a crazy late time over the last 2 days. But let's have a look at our first player here. It's going to be DM's Hardrain. Now, Hardrain hasn't played much of the STPL. He only played 1 game where he did lose against CRVT. CRVT is a very respectable player to lose to, so can't say anything bad about him. His opponent fighting for Valhalla team is going to be Sevilla. Now, when I first saw his name, I read it as Saliva, and I was like, what? That would have been such a weird name, but Sevilla, not too sure about Sevilla, as a matter of fact. It's been a while. Well, I've not actually seen his games, so looking forward to seeing them. We are going to be heading on to one of my favorite maps to be able to watch, and I say that about every single map because I love all maps, apart from Fighting Spirit. It's going to be Fantasy 2. Now, Fantasy 2 is actually a mix of 4 different maps. In the top left-hand corner, I need to remember this. So I think the top left-hand corner is... Yeah, the top left-hand corner is Xeno Sky. Top right is Nostalgia. Bottom right is Rider the Valkyries, and bottom left is Sin Gamer Go On. They were 4 very popular maps at their respective times, and it's really, really cool to have them all together. Now, there are yeah, it's Sevilla. Custom use, Zerg user, yep. But this is a very weird map. Like, if I was to say, if we had a weird map in the STPL, this is the weird one for Season 3. Neo Arkanoid was the one for Season 2. And I've actually had Fancy 2 in a few tournaments before. If any of you have watched me for a long time, you may remember the Clash for Char tournaments I did back in 2017. I used this for a lot of them, and every single game I had on here was really, really fun. So I was like, I'm bringing it back. I almost brought it back for Season 2. Okay, Core Breach is a weird map as well. We've got 2 weird maps, which is Fantasy 2 and Core Breach. But essentially, Nostalgia does have gas. It's got nat gas. Other than that, it's mostly the same. Like, there are a few positional imbalances sometimes, but that makes the games more entertaining, because you never know what you're going to get before you get into the game. So let's, speaking of getting into the game, go for it. It's Hard Rain versus Sevilla here on Fantasy 2. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand, Nostalgia Spawn. It's DM's Hard Rain in the blue, fighting from the US of A. And Master Chief, it's as live replays. I'm casting live, but we're casting from replays. And his opponent spawning in the Xeno Sky spawn over here in the 11 o'clock position is going to be Sevilla. And I did do all these pinkish graphics myself. All of the graphics minus the live soon screen I have made myself now. So I'm slowly getting there. It is going to be a ZBP, Sevilla, of course, from South Korea. Now, one thing I'd like to point out, we're going to reveal the map. We're going to hide the bottom left overlays. By air, the spawns are incredibly close together. But by ground, we have a very long rush distance for the Zerg and the Protoss player. Let's follow it along with the mouse. You can see that we're going to have one base play starting off here from Hard Rain. It's quite difficult to expand down here because you can't really wall in. But look at the way the probe has to go. It has to go over the bridge, down here around the main of Xeno Sky, and back into the main. So it takes a long, long time. And it's difficult. Like, it's a very, very long push path, obviously due to the bridges as well. It makes it very difficult for Hydrobus to get over the ramp. Yeah, Xeno Sky is a very old school map. I mean, all of them are. Like, Sin Gamer Go On, really old. Rider the Valkyries, really old. One of the first real close by air 2-player maps. And Nostalgia, of course, even older. And then, of course, in the top left, you've got Xeno Sky, which was a very interesting map for the time. Shad was asking me in chat, just while we get into the game, what did I use to make the graphics? I used Photoshop and After Effects. Now, we've got 2 gates coming in from the Protoss player. Don't think this is going to be an all-in. It was I can never remember, is it 13, 15 you build the gates? I wasn't actually checking too much, but we've got a 12 hatch actually coming in for our Zerg player into an expansion. So Sevilla playing this very, very risky, I would say. Obviously knowing that the Protoss player is likely to one base, this does give Hard Rain a little bit of an advantage given the fact the Lings will be so late. But as I did mention, we do have a very long rush distance. Now Sevilla is going to see that there's no natural expansion and see the 2 gates, so knows exactly what's coming their way. But are we going to have a Sunken coming up? Yes, we are. So Sunken going to come up at the front. Lings are going to start spawning. But this is all going to come down to the Zealot Micro. Very much a normal thing. Now do note that there is no gas here yet for Hard Rain. There is going to be an expansion nexus coming up behind no gas, so tech is going to be very late. That means High Templar are going to be late, which makes Hydras and Mutas a little bit stronger later on. But right now the focus is really on these Zealots. Now, these spawns I definitely feel almost favor Sevilla a little bit, because if you're in the right of the Valkyrie spawn, look how little space you have to defend, whereas there is a big choke here that's very hard to block up with those Zealots. We've got a lot of Lings heading around the map here. We do have an Extractor done, speed on the way with Lair, so there's going to be very quick tech coming up. And yeah, this is a very, very long rush distance for Double Gate. Now, can Hard Rain hold on at the bridge? Because this could be a very, very important moment in this game. We can have a very quick game, get those 6-minute cursor modes ready if you are a sub to the channel, because this is looking a little bit risky here. Now, there is going to be a Forge coming in. Sevilla doesn't want to push too far forward, but looking now with the Overlord, we'll see that there's only 6 Zealots. There is a Nexus coming up. And finally, we're about to have that gas coming in. The probe waiting there to build that. There we go. And we are going to have the Protoss player teching up as well. Now, Hard Rain going to come out here with a probe, go for a scout. Now, Shad asking in chat, will it be Massling? I don't think so, just because we do have that Lair done. Spire is on the way. And I think we're actually going to head into a macro game from here. I mean, obviously Massling is still an option, but when you're going to tech up like this, you may as well. It is, of course, very risky on this map to try and expand in this position as Protoss, which is why this is going to be a little bit of a problem, and to be honest, why 2 gate isn't necessarily a bad idea, because when you have 2 gates worth of Zealots, you can block this bridge, and then all you have to worry about is this small ramp, so you don't necessarily need to worry about anything unless Hydras come. So building Zealots constantly, definitely the right call here, although you do need to hold a little bit just so you can get your cannons up, so you can get some... Okay, cannons in the main are a little bit interesting, obviously getting ready for Mutalisks, and he did see the Spire, according to Shad in chat, so... these matches were played yesterday, Master Chef. They were literally played yesterday at 1800 CEST. So that's why we cast from replays, just because otherwise we'd have to do all the games in a row. And it takes a long time to go through 5 best of 5s. We're not quite the BSL where we have like 8 hours to cast. Okay, third hatchery coming up in the main here for Sevilla. Not going to try and... Oh, sorry, that's actually the 4th hatchery. Third hatchery is down here in the Sin Gamer Go On main. A really good place to expand to. You do have that small ramp. You can also get this natural expansion. Gives you a pretty good job. Now, the Mutalist did fly in. Didn't get too much done. Did find 2 cannons over there. There's no cannons defending the Zealots at the very least. So he could... choose to try and push in, maybe hit the Forge, maybe hit the Pylon, and everything's out of range here. So this is a little bit unfortunate. One of the problems with going for Mass Zealot and not building cannons at the front. But there is going to be another... Is this going to get unpowered? Okay, Triple Dragoon coming out here. This is going to help save the Pylon, at least for the time being. Going to get another Pylon up most likely. Yeah, there we go. Going to protect that. No Stargate as of yet. Actually going to go into 4-gate Dragoon by the looks of it. Hold this on. Obviously can go into Archons as well, but that's going to be a while away. This is one of the problems where you end up with 2-gate Zealot. Now, one difference about this compared to normal Gamer Go On is there's actually... oh, I'm thinking of Quintessence. You can just run up there. That's fine. It's not a big deal. But yeah, in TVZ it's a little bit rough. Looks like the Mutalist is going to be flying around trying to find some damage. We've got an Evolution Chamber coming in here. Hydra Den is done. Hydra Speed on the way. A 5th hatchery coming up now. It's kind of funny seeing in such a funky map Sevilla just playing a perfectly normal game. Obviously going for a lot of Mutalist harass here, doing a pretty good job. Thank you, Martial, for the raid. Thank you so much, man. Welcome. Now, we still have a lot of Zealots out here at the front. There's not actually that much ground here available for Sevilla. So if if Hard Rain can get this upgrade done, he can possibly push across the map and do a lot of damage. Now the Mutalist still trying to find her out, fly around, find some damage, seeing if they can get any damage anywhere. Picks off a probe, but loses a Mutalisk. Not the position you want to be in. Now there is still no Hydralisk flood as of yet for... Okay, here they come. Hydras are on the way now. Look at the expansions though. The bottom left-hand base very nicely... trying to think of the right word. Very nicely saturated at the mineral line. So all looking pretty good there. We've got a lot of Hydras starting to come out of the 5 hatcheries. This could be a little bit of a problem for Hard Rain, who is still without much tech. No Corsairs. Means these Mutalisks can constantly fly in, get kills, fly away. Another 2 probes have gone down. And you can see that by doing this, Sevilla has actually managed to get up even on worker supply. Now, obviously, with the extra gateways, we're going to have Hard Rain at a higher supply, which is perfectly normal in PvZ. But there's no Templar Archives. Did I see a Templar Archives? No, I didn't. This is an all-in on gateway units here for our Protoss player. Now, without Storm, without Archons, this is a very difficult thing to try and engage. So, let's see what's going to happen, because I do not see Dragoon Zealot dealing with this army very well. There's basically a conga line of Protoss units here going into the Zerg main, and this is very different. It's very difficult. I am going to zoom out a little bit here just to kind of keep everything on the screen, but here we go. Looks like we are going to have a lot of units engaging each other. The Zealots do manage to get on top of the Hydras, but surely Hard Rain just doesn't have enough. Hydras are so powerful against gateway units. I mean, this is gateway man without Templar. Like, Hard Rain was playing a very risky game here by not going for any form of tech whatsoever. I don't know if he maybe expected Sevilla to play super greedy at the back here, but it definitely didn't work out whatsoever. Now Hard Rain is going to be pulling back to his base. There's still no Templar Archives. I mean, he's going to have the high ground here. That's going to be pretty good, but the Mule is going to be soaking a lot of those hits from the Dragoons. The Zealots at the front going down incredibly quickly. The Mules have fallen. Maybe Hard Rain can hold on, but looks like Sevilla is starting to get a supply advantage here. The target firing of the Dragoons hasn't been as good as it needs to be to snipe those Hydras. I mean, it was a good place to fight, as Shad said, but it definitely didn't work out. We've actually got a lot of pros idle over here now. It looks like this could be the end of the game here. Sevilla moving forward. A lot of Hydras coming in with a lot of health between them. A lot of reinforcements coming in as well. Now, Hydra speed finished, but it still feels like they're moving kind of slowly. We've actually got Overlords. I thought we were going to have Overlord drops. That would have been crazy. But looks like... Is Sevilla going to lose all his Hydras here? Is that what's going to happen? No, here we go. More Hydras going to come in from over the bridge. Let's see how this is going to go, but it looks like one of the cannons has gone down. Hard Rain definitely feeling the effects of the rain here, with all of his Dragoons falling into blue goo. Hydra's doing so much damage. Cannons trying to come up and dying immediately. Still no Templar Archives. Hard Rain has been completely and utterly punished because of the choice of build here. And it's very difficult. Now, it looks like the Hydras have been cleaned up, but more and more are just going to be flooding across the map. You can see the reinforcements coming in from every single base. This is more like a campaign mission at this point for Hard Rain. He's going Mass Dragoon against nothing but Mass Hydra. And I hate to tell Hard Rain this, Hydras are pretty good against Dragoons, so this is not looking good. I'm usually one to be highly optimistic, but with nothing but Dragoons coming in here, no splash whatsoever. I mean, this is pretty much it. I don't know how on earth Hard Rain could hold on to this. If Sevilla just gets enough units, he's going to be coming in here and just absolutely demolishing. Back at home, we've got another couple of evolution chambers coming in. That's going to be for melee upgrade and melee carapace. And we're going to see ultras behind this, and when ultras come in, it's just going to be far too much. Now, Sevilla doesn't want to look to end the game immediately. Sevilla is going to be building a lot of lurkers over the bridges. That makes it very hard for Protoss to get out. Now, of course, there is this ramp that goes around the edge, as this is based on nostalgia, this top right-hand corner. But I mean, this is still just pure... It's pure goon. Like, the Templar Archives is only just now coming up at 14 minutes into the game. It's crazy. This is just far, far too late. Hardrain gonna see that a 4th base is coming in. Hardrain wondering why he's not being killed, I think? Maybe? He's like, wait, where are you expanding? Oh, they're complaining about lag. I mean... They're both lagging here, and... realistically, going Mass Goon against Mass Hydra and lag is not really what you want to do. And that it's far beyond the point where you can complain about lag, unfortunately, Hardrain. Unfortunately, due to the spawns, the 2-gate did not pay off. We've got the Dragoons getting stuck on the bridge as well, because obviously Dragoons are very stupid. But yeah, going for the build choice he did, 2-gate on this map isn't necessarily bad. It's very good to be able to expand quite quickly. But the trouble is, when your opponent spawns in the top left-hand base, you're so far away by ground that it just isn't worth it. And the trouble is, you come down here, all that's going to happen is Sevilla could just go into the main if he wants to. But here we go. Looks like the Hydra is going to jump on top of the Dragoons with the Lings. This is just far, far too much. And I think this is going to be the death throes of our Protoss player here. Trying to hold on, trying to secure this 3rd base area, but it's just not good enough. We've got Sevilla with a 4th base even, down in the bottom middle. There's even a hatchery here, which is kind of crazy, but you do get Sunkens up here if you want to. And this is it. Hardrain fought his hardest, but unfortunately, the build choice definitely didn't work here, and that's going to be all she wrote for this game. GG. Hardrain taps out. Sevilla takes us up 2-1. Okay, so I don't think anyone would really be surprised at Valhalla team taking an advantage over DM. Statistically, one of the stronger teams in Season 2. Again, statistically, one of the other ones, and all she wrote is a very good expression. I do like it a lot. But I'm just quickly loading back into the replays and everything. We'll load up the next one. While I'm doing this, let's actually introduce our next couple of players. Now, it's actually going to be a ZVZ on Core Breach. Now, if you don't know Core Breach, it's because you may know it under the other name. We'll go into it in just a second, but let's introduce both of our players. Starting us off for DM, we're going to have in the preview I named Pre their star player, because realistically, Pre is a very strong Protoss player for DM. Yes, his win ratio maybe doesn't show that, but he's definitely one of the more interesting players on the team as well. Other than Defiler, who had like a 60-70% win rate, but only across 4 games, Pre has got the most games played on DM minus Tech, I think. So definitely their star player. Really, really strong Protoss. Really fun to watch as well. And is currently the active captain. And I've somehow managed to load up the same replay. So luckily enough, we've got time to introduce our other player as well. For VT, once again, it's going to be a little bit of an unknown player here. Now, the reason for this is because VT had their lineup submitted, so did DM. And due to a misunderstanding with time, VT turned up late. Rather than take a walkover, DM decided to fight VT anyway. So both of them kind of put together a last-minute roster and played 2 hours later than their agreed time. So they did get to play, but it is going to be Dog fighting for Valhalla team. Dog is a very interesting username. It's going to be so weird reading that out. But I actually quite like it. Now, the one thing I want to do here especially is to introduce you guys to the wonderful map we're about to be heading into. Now, the map is going to be Core Breach. Core Breach, you may recognize it as very similar to Inner Coven. Inner Coven obviously used in the most recent ASL. It's a really, really fun map, leads to really important, really interesting games but this is the latest version. With the latest version came a name change, and rather than just being New in a Coven or Sin in a Coven, Freakling decided to name it Core Breach, felt it fit the map a little bit more. So we're going to have a ZVZ on this brand new version of In a Coven. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the game and let's get started with game number 4. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand corner as your Black Zerg here. It's going to be Dog fighting in the 9 o'clock position. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner is going to be the one, the only, Pre fighting for DM from Chile. Now this is game 4. There's not many times recently where DM have gone into a game 4 being only 2-1 down. Many times in Season 1 that actually lost the series by this point. So DM definitely showing a little bit of a stronger showing here in Season 2. Obviously Game 2 was a crazy PvP. Pre is Protoss, but in this series playing Zerg. Pre stepped in for someone else. He's a sub. It's basically everything messed up by everything being rearranged. But Pre is a pretty respectable Zerg player as well. So looking forward to seeing how Pre Zerg is going to do. ZVZ on this map as well is crazy. Like, I genuinely can't think of many... Was there a ZVZ on here on ASL? There must have been, but I just can't remember them whatsoever. Like, it's a very difficult map. Normally. Soma versus Killer was on this map. Thank you, FakeFin. But yeah, it's... Overall, this is just a very, very strange map to play on. We've got a 12 hatch in the main for Pre, going for an extractor. Now, it looks like we are going to have a spawning pool. That was actually a 9 pool, 9 gas into drones. By Dog here. Now, if there's one map that could end up being... a Hive ZVZ, I think this is probably the one that's gonna give us the most chance. We haven't actually had a Hive ZVZ in the STPL before. So if we get a late game ZVZ, I'll be incredibly impressed and very happy, as Hive ZVZ is so good. But it's very difficult to push by ground on this map, so you can play a little bit more... Well, you can play very greedy, actually, in ZVZ on this map. You've obviously, if you've never seen In a Coven before, or Core Breach, the main defining feature is the... Well, there's actually a few. Let's have a look. Oops. Don't want to exit the game. So, the middle of the map have these 3 beacons. They are purely decorational. They do not do anything like they would in the Contain. But the middle of the map has a gas base, which for some reason, I guess because I'm... Yeah, I think it's because I'm not actually in vision. The other thing is you have these wonderful stasis pods that if you watched STPL Season 2, you would have seen those on Desperado. They basically make it very difficult to push through the middle of the map. Now, it's also difficult to push around the outside of the map because if we have a look here, we'll zoom right out here to see the whole bottom corner. In between the bases, there are eggs on one side and both in some cases. And no eggs here. There are the 3 island bases in the middle. Essentially, this is Disruption Web. You may know this spell from Corsairs. It gets used very, very rarely in a normal game situation, but it can see play. But essentially, it makes it quite difficult. There are also these... Why can't I click anything? This is so strange. This thing here is actually a sentry turret. And what that basically means is you cannot build the hatchery on location unless you kill it with a drone and an overlord. But Ridderin asks, are you going to solo commentate or no-co commentators? Sometimes I'll co-commentate, sometimes I'll solo cast, depending on if Rapid is available. Rapid, of course, if you don't know, was casting BSL the last 2 days, and the BSL lasted a very, very long time. They were some very long groups this week, so I think he was up until like 8 AM every single day. So Rapid, I mean, to cast with me, Rapid basically needs to wake up at 4 AM, I think, if he casts STPL. Now, we've got Pre going for... Pre is actually going for a ton of spore colonies here. Now, Pre, because he's skipped so many Zerglings, has gone mass drone. And Nao can also cast at 4 AM, so I'm not going to get him either. But it would be cool if Nao could cast. I don't know if he'd want to, but looks like we've got the hatchery coming up here. A big drone advantage for Pre, though, and with so many drones, building tons of spore colonies isn't necessarily a problem. Now, this Spire, given the spore colony position, is not in the best of positions. It's only defended by a single spore. You can see Dog has already got the Muteless out. They're going to be heading across the map. And they're going to see if they can make it in. Now, no way is Pre going to hide a base in the other main. That is so ridiculous. If he manages to get away with a hidden base in a ZVZ, that would be crazy. And Shadas, he'll never be in a position to be ahead of Mutas. That is very true. He needs a second gas to be able to catch up in the Muteless count. He does have the same number of hatcheries, but eventually you do need to get Mutelisks. Or... Did we see Hydras? Pre plays some very weird styles. Like, could we see a Hydralist style coming out from him? He is going to go Muteless. Wait. 6 versus 5? He's actually got a Muteless advantage here. No, it's going to be 6 versus 7. But let's have a look, see if Pre can actually get the first shots. First moving shots coming in. The Scourge cannot catch. And it looks like Pre is going to be in a little bit of trouble now, running away with his with his Muteless even. But he's going to fall back to 4 Spore Colonies. And that's going to make it impossible, losing only a single Muteless there to do a lot of damage to these Mutas from Dog here. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Now, I can finally click the floor gun trap. I guess it was because it wasn't available, but it's only got 50 health. But you can kill it and expand, but it looks like he just wants the gas. And now we do have an expansion coming down here in the bottom right, and realistically, Dog is probably not going to fly down there to kill that, because if you fly to that expansion and Pre knows you're down there, he goes immediately to your main. Oh my god, immediate pickoff on that spore. It looks like we do have some Scourge connections here, but it is going to be 7 versus 7. Looks like we've got another Scourge connection, a little bit unfortunate. But this is a really, really clever ninja base. A really, really clever hidden base, because the second you know it's dying, you know your opponent is not going to have spores. That is not going to happen. Like, they're not going to suddenly go spore when they've got the gas advantage. And you're just going to fly straight into their main and kill every single drone. Now, if he can get some spore colonies up down here, that's going to delay any aggression to this base as well. Looks like we've got Overlords heading to the bottom left-hand side of the map. They're going to try and save themselves just to make sure they don't die to the to Pre. Now, it's kind of funny, in ZVZ, you see like the map vision for both players slowly goes down. Now, we've got a lot of drones transferring down here to the bottom right. Creep colonies on the way. And here we go. Looks like we are going to have a lot of Muteless coming in here for Pre. It's going to be... Oh my god, the Scourge connection so good. 12 though. 12 Muteless against 8. Pre is going to get away. He does take a little bit of damage to his Muteless. Finally, the floor trap has been cleared up. We're going to have 2 base economy now coming in from Dog, but that is very inefficient minerals. Whereas this base, it's a full gas. This is a half gas. And also, there's more minerals here. So, Pre, if he can secure this base, if he gets spores up, this is going to be such an unbelievable lead here for Pre. Now, Tech had an unbelievable lead against She in Game 1. It's possible in Brood War to throw away a lead if you get either unfortunate or you make the wrong decision or you don't scout properly. And Tech was the one who didn't scout properly in Game 1, and in this game, it looks like it could be Dog. Like, Dog probably not going to go for a third base anytime soon. I mean... Getting to a third base in ZVZ is hard enough as it is, but the bases are so far apart from each other. It looks like Pre going to come around here with a Mutalisk actually flying past the Overlord of Dog. Oh no, these Mutas are going to get caught off guard. The Mutas are going to die. Oh my goodness, splitting the Mutalisk, trying to get away. But not looking good. We've got 0-0 for Pre, 0-1 for Dog as well. Looks like Pre does save a good number of the Mutalisks. They do get away, which is good for Pre. But unfortunately, losing a lot of Mutalisks is not a position you want to be in a ZVZ. Now, we've got more Spore Colonies coming up. Pre is just playing Muta Drone. He is not building anything else. Don't need Scourge. Don't need anything else. You've just got a million Spores. I mean, look at this base. It's already got 3 Spores defending the gas. Could you ask for anything better? I don't think so. Now, this has got to be Hive, right? There's going to be a Queen's Nest at some point soon. There has to be. There's no way you go for this amount of creep colonies. Spore colonies even. Yes, you lost all your Mutalisks. But he's banking 1.2k gas. There's going to be a Queen's Nest. I know it. We can feel it. There's going to be a Hive ZVZ. We are going to have Queens. We're going to have Ensnare. And we're going to have eventually Plague. I mean, Pre is on 38 drones. And that, hold on, let's count the Spore colonies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 drones have gone into the making of Spore colonies. And he's still 18 drones ahead. This is this is only one control. Is this 2 control groups? It's nearly 2 control groups of Mutalisks, though. And this could be a problem. Like, this is risky. There's another hatchery coming in the main. As far as Dog's aware, Pre is only on 1 base. Like, this is not good for Dog. Like, Dog has a ton of Mutalisks. But the Mutas aren't going to help you too much. But where is the Queen's Nest? We need the Queen's Nest here. More Spores coming up. Pre is playing this so strange. But here we go. Looks like the Mutalisk going to come in. A lot of Mutas have actually hatched now for Pre. But look at the Spore colonies doing their work. Pre is going for a counter-attack. He isn't even bothered if he loses drones. He's got so many of them. The Spores buying so much time. And there's no defense in this top left-hand base. Oh my goodness, so many drones are going down, and Dog, he's got no economy. He's only on 15 drones. More are gonna die. What a crazy situation. Looks like Dog has come back with his Mutalisk. He did kill a good number of Spore colonies. Looks like most of the drones survived. And losing these Mutalisks are a problem. I mean, Dog does save 14 drones. But he's barely mining. He's pushing forward with Spores. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if he Spore pushed into them? Oh my god, the Scourge! The Scourge connection, so good. Now here we go. Looks like the Mutalisk going to come back 3 Spores at a time, targeting these Mutalisks. They're going down so quickly. And for every drone for every Spore colony that goes down, that's another drone that is wasted. But oh my god, the Evo Chamber. Is the Evo Chamber getting focused? What is he even attacking here? I can't even tell what's going on. There's so much going. So many glaives everywhere. Pre is holding on. Oh my god, Dog's units are slowly starting to fall. He's trying to get the gas. He thinks this is the only base. Wow, this is such a crazy ZVZ. What an absolute treat to have in the first series of the STPL Season 3. The Spores are going down. Dog thinks he's at an unsurmountable lead here. He's like, I'm on 2 base, you're on 1. I've killed all of your Spores, you've got no gas. What are you gonna do? Little does he know, Pre's got another base. Okay, that base is gonna get spotted, surely. How did Dog not see that base? Oh my goodness, but this base is the real story. Still does not know about this base down here. He's not scouted this position, and even if he does, he has very few Mutalisks left. We still don't have a Queen's Nest. I am so disappointed. But this is such a strange way of playing this map, but you know what? It's working out perfectly. 14 minutes in, the ZVZ is still going. The Evo Chamber has a chance of falling here, but look at this! There's barely any muteless left here for Dog. Pre can actually take a straight up engagement. It's 0-1. Oh my god, it's 1-2 though for Dog. Dog's upgrades are insane right now, but he's still losing. He's fighting over Scourge. He's losing the mirror engagement when he has so much of an upgrade lead. What on earth are we watching? This is such a crazy ZVZ. But things are getting a little bit problematic here. Looks like he has still traded badly. So Pre is actually ahead. Pre is still sitting with a 1k gas bank. A 1k gas bank in a ZVZ. Look at the spores! He's building 3 spores over here as well. Oh my goodness. Pre is doing so well. Pre is playing this like I've never seen anybody play this map like this whatsoever. I've not seen many ZVZs, I'll admit. But this is a good start to Season 3. What a series. Now, where is the Queen's Nest? I mean, to be honest, he doesn't even need Ensnare. He's down in upgrades, and he keeps winning the engagements anyway. Yeah, and Invidentia saying it's insulting that he's hoarding 1k gas and not going Hive. I agree. Now, another Spore Colony coming up down here in the bottom right-hand corner. The Extractor is up. Pre is now on 3 gases. Oh my goodness. And TT1 pointing out this is in fact the Model Slayer. Pre did beat Models and I think tilted him quite a bit. By the way, TT1, congratulations on beating Zeki in the BSL. I think that happened, didn't it? I'm not misremembering. $51 drones for Pre. If there was a Spore Colony count at the moment, it's probably around another 50. But this is just kind of crazy. I mean, Dog is still sitting here on 22 drones, thinking he's in the lead, thinking his opponent is on 1 base, and he's like, well, he's going to run out of gas soon, right? He's bound to run out of gas. He's not expanded. I've not scouted. And this is going to go 2-2. In this series now, Pre is going to use some of his gas to just kill Overlords with Scourge, and that realistically isn't a problem. Now, do we have Hive? No, we do not, so there's going to be no +3 attack coming in here for Dog, but it looks like Pre is going to be the one scouting around here. Looks like the Overlord is going to go down, but doesn't scout the fact there's no 3rd base, so a little bit unfortunate there, but another Creep Colony coming in. The ironic thing about this is if Dog just killed these eggs, he has a free push with Massling into Pre's main. Like, all he had to do was build Lings this entire time, and he just didn't know. He just hasn't had the scouting information whatsoever, and a 4th base coming up down here by Pre in the 4 o'clock location as well. This is such a strange ZVZ. What a better start to Season 2. We had that crazy PvP as well. And finally, a 3rd base going to be coming up down here in the 8 o'clock position, but we've still only got 2 Carapace here. Still no Queen's Nest. Still... Oh! Queen's Nest! Okay, we're doing it. Double Spire, Queen's Nest, Hive. 18 minutes into the game, he'd banked about 2k gas, and it's Hive time. And if he gets Ensnare, I will be a happy, happy caster. If he gets Defilers and Plague, then that's it. Now, Dan Barbillion saying in chat, foreigners are needlessly defensive. He's not needlessly defensive here. He's actually been quite far behind in the mute account the whole game. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have an engagement. There is an upgrade advantage still for Dog. Pre does not want to throw the game away here. Pulls back, checks that the eggs are still there. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Master A, for the host. And thank you, Chava, for the 12-month resub, man. Thank you so much. It is so pretty. And this is such a crazy, crazy game. Oh my goodness. We've got a 4th base in a ZVZ. We've got Hive. We've got Mass Spore against Mass Muta. When do you ever see a Zerg mine out their main in a ZVZ? It just doesn't happen. Zerg get like 6 drones per base and that's it, the game's over, you know? This is just crazy. More creep colonies coming in. I mean, he's still up nearly double the supply in workers. He's on 140 supply in a ZVZ. That's actually insane. Now the hive is done. +1 attack is finally on the way. +3 carapace? Oh, he's killing a spore. He's had to kill a spore. He's got his drone stuck. Oh my god, that's so funny. The drones couldn't get out. Oh man, he's even killing his own drones now. Now, neither player is really willing to attack into each other now. Look at this! Dog is adding his own spores now. He's like, okay, if you're going to play the spore war, I'm going to play the spore war. We're going to have hive for both players. Queen's Nest is done for Dog. And hiding the hive under the lair, but it's not actually started just yet. Or under the muteless even. Double hive, 20 minute ZVZ. STPL certainly does. If you want to get in here, watch this. Tell your friends, because it's not going to be often you'll get to see a core breach like game like this. But here we go. Oh my god, the Scourge even getting a connection. Now hive is still not started. Queen's Nest. Oh, here we go. Hive is on the way. Overlord going down. That's going to supply block Dog. Dog is supply blocked at 21 minutes into the game. Under 100 supply. We've got pre up 80 supply. 30 of that is in drones, 50 of that is in attacking units, and about 100 of that is in spore colonies. Now, +3 carapace is coming in, +1 attack is done, +2 attack is still not done. There's no... Oh no! Oh, Dog scouted it. He's finally seen the base. He's probably kicking himself right now. My goodness. Oh man, that's so unfortunate. But here we go. The muteless gonna fly in at the top right, or yeah, top left. He knows his opponent's mutas are down in the bottom left, and oh my god, he's got mutas at all the bases. Mutas at all the bases. Dog has lost most of his drones at his third base. Most of his drones at his natural have gone down. 22 minutes in, this is going to come down to a ridiculously big fight between all the muteless. +3 attack, though, is almost done. But even if he breaks through the mutelisks, he can't kill the bases. Pre is going to max out in a ZVZ. He's got 1 million spore colonies every single base. You can't fight those spore colonies. Pre can just remax again, which is something I never ever thought I'd say in a ZVZ. Okay, Guardian to kill Spore would be pretty good, as Shad points out in chat, but you need to go Great Aspire for that. Now, the problem is supply. The Pre has 2 full control groups of muteless here. He's got another half a control group here. Now let's count the muteless here for his opponent. 12. Okay, so 2 control groups essentially here. Yeah, Pre just has a bigger army. That's it. Like, Pre has more muteless, he has more drones, he has 100 more supply. Now we'll have to... Pre actually subbed in for Dark Swarm. And I'm going to be completely honest with the way this is going. I'm glad. This has been such a crazy ZVZ. I just want Ensnare. I want Ensnare or Plague. Just make it happen. Oh my god, he's going melee upgrades. He's going to break through the X and kill him with Lings. In ZVZ faux pas, you want a Carapace priority, I think, because the Carapace obviously works more. It basically helps. But here we go. Looks like the main is going to come under fire. Great Aspire is in. Oh my god, this is so many muteless. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's have a look at this in all of its glory. I don't want to even touch the mouse. So many muteless from Pre. Dog is going to fall here. And oh my god, this is just unbelievable. So many muteless. Pre is going to take us into the ace match, and there is nothing that Dog can do about it. The Great Aspire is going to go down. GG. The supplies at the end of that are 166 to 32. That is how good that game was. Let's head in to the ace match when we get back after this short break.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Here we have Neo Outlier. I'm going to show you how to get over these temples with a probe. I'll also do it with an SCV and a drone as well. So what you do is you essentially send the probe up to mine, you press stop, and you go to build a pylon. Now you build the pylon underneath you, so essentially it's going to push you, then you spam right click, and all of a sudden you are through. And here is the same trick with Terran. There's a couple of ways you can do this. One of them is you build a depot, and you essentially cancel building, and you just spam yourself through. You have to be kind of stuck or either on the building in the temple or there. But you can cancel that, and just to show, you can do it both ways as well. Okay, now there's a way you can do this with just 2 workers, which is the only way Zerg are able to do this. You can also do this with Protoss and Terran as well. So essentially, you get both workers lined up here. You mine with 1 worker, you send the second worker to mine just behind it, and you hit stop. It can be a little bit finicky, so don't worry if you don't get it first try. We got it. No we didn't. Yes we did. Okay, so that didn't go perfectly. You can do it a lot better than that, but it does take a little bit of practice. So just keep trying, and you will eventually get it. And you'll find it actually has quite a lot of uses in various different maps. Okay guys, welcome back. DM have done it. They've taken Valhalla team, who came 3rd last season when DM finished bottom of the table. They've taken them to an ace match. It's tied up 2-2. And let's get in to this final game on La Mancha. Okay, spawning us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have the red Protoss player, sorry. The overlay is going to show him as Zerg just because that's going to be a bit of a mess, but it's fine. It's going to be a PvT. It's going to be Pre playing his main race from Chile. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be She, fighting for Valhalla team in the blue as the Terran. Now it's going to be another TVP. We saw a little bit of She's TVP a little bit earlier on, where She took down Tech in Game 1 on Andromeda. But this time, we're going to have Pre, the champion of the last game, did a really, really good job. Once again, please do ignore the overlay saying it's Zerg. It's just because he's a race picker. And race pickers don't work very well on my overlay. I haven't managed to find a fix for that, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter too much. It's all going to go in the database at the end with the right races, and it'll be on Liquipedia with the right races as well. While we get into this game, I'd just like to say a massive shout out to our sponsors, Liquipedia, a fantastic resource for any Brood War content, pretty much any form of esports content on Liquipedia, and Esport Fund for also being so generous. The tournament has just started, guys, and we are already at 1,230 or 1,000 Yeah, $1,231 of our $2,000 prize pool goal. And there is a code you can enter by following the Matcherino link, which is STPL S3, and that will give you access to donate 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. Okay, so the core is coming up. It's going to be 2 gate here for Pre, so Pre not going to expand, which is a little bit interesting here. La Mancha, definitely one of the more standard maps in the map pool. She is going to be able to wall this in. Now, you can actually fully wall this. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit confused about this specific wall setup, but I guess it does keep you alive. Okay, and then if we have a look at what's going on, we've got a lot of scouting going on for both players. Now, it's going to be a first scout here for she. No, second scout, sorry, which is going to help because she will see the fact there is 2 gates and a core. Now, it is going to be 2 gate power goon here, not quite as all-in as 2 gate zealot. It does give you the chance of expanding behind it. Pretty much keeps you alive against anything that Terran can do early on, and does allow you to put a lot of pressure onto this bunker here, so let's have a look at how that goes. Now, she going into their first factory over here. Still no additional tech coming in from Pre. No expansion coming in either. Now, is Pre going to hide like a robo or something out in the middle of the map? Or is Pre going to go and expand? It's very hard to expand when you're going 2 gate power goon, just because Dragoons are very, very expensive. But looks like as soon as range... Wait, range is done, right? Why is there no pressure on this bunker? Did Pre forget range? There's no way. No way Pre forgot range. Expansion coming up, though. There's no pressure on the bunker is so weird. This is such an odd thing to see in a PvZ. A PvP, sorry. A PvT. My god, I'm going through every matchup but the one it is. Okay, the SCV gets in, gets a full scout. Now, I think Pre is the person I've seen skip. Yeah, Pre played Zerg in the last game, but now because this is the ace match and he's not subbing in for someone, he can play his main race. Now, I have seen Pre, I think it was Pre, skip range before to get quicker tech. Now, I don't know if that actually happened in this game. It is a very, very risky play. Now, oh my god, Pre is just going to go for it. Gonna target down the SCVs, target down the bunker. Oh my god, is this enough to kill the bunker? Oh, the bunker falls! This is such an incredible victory here for Pre even. Pre versus she is so hard to say. But the goon's getting stuck. There is no range on these Dragoons, by the way. This is going to be the world's quickest DT. Coming up after the expansion, most likely with that Citadel coming in. But she is going to be taking so much damage. The first tank is only just now out. The bunker at the top of the ramp has been cancelled. So she feels comfortable in defending against this. But Pre is doing an incredible amount of damage here. I would just like to emphasize, if Pre beats she here and DM take down VT, that is one of statistically the best possible upsets you could have. Wow, Pre is doing such a good job in this series so far. Pre is going to double expand now. Yeah, Pre versus she is really funny. It's really awkward to say, but looks like we've got the engineering bay coming up here. Only one factory is done. Mines and tanks coming in. There's probably going to be a starport coming up behind this. That's actually a pretty good start now. There obviously has been a scan. They actually went for an academy very, very quickly. But this would be such an incredible upset if Pre manages to pull this off. Like, not to say anything bad about DM, but when you compare DM's roster, or more so DM's history in the STPL, and VT's history, VT came 3rd in last season. I think DM came 11th. Like, I think they maybe won one series, and that was against Sai. Whereas in this series, or in this season, they're currently tied up with Valhalla team, and they have a very good chance of winning this ace match. Now this is world's quickest Arbiter Tribunal, actually, off of 3 base, so things are looking pretty good. Oh, there is a DT. Oh my god, oh my god, if this DT mind drags into the minerals, that would be hilarious. Looks like he's not going to be able to do it. Looks like he is going to pull away before it's a little bit too late. Oh, they won versus Ash as well. Thank you, Fake Fin. 1 versus Ash thanks to Pre. Pre actually won in the series there. So, Pre definitely a good player here for DM. Very much showing why I picked him to be their star player when I did the preview on Team Liquid. Now, one thing that I'm introducing for this season, if you want to cheer for these teams, yes, you have the Twitch. Oh my god, actually, this is 4 probes going down, 5 probes. Where is the defense? There's just no units back at home to defend. 6 probes? 7 probes? No, the 7th probe does survive. But what on earth? Where is the unit? Oh no, the mines. Pre-delayed a robo for a very long time. There's no robo yet. There's no observers. There's no cannons. This is the move that she needs to make to get back in this game. Speed is done. Mines are available on this vulture. Here comes a very good pylon wall. Perfect timing. Gonna keep the vultures away from the main, which is very important. But he still hasn't cleaned up the vultures at his 3rd base. This is such a weird situation for Pre to be in. Pre had a big advantage early on, killing a lot of SCVs. But if she has to do anything to come back in this game, it's these vulture raids. To go back to what I was saying before, just while we have a little bit of lull waiting for things, if you want to submit a cheerful, which is, of course, a graphic that you want me to show on stream when you're cheering for your favorite teams and or players, please submit one in there. I'll show it up on stream as long as it's not inappropriate. Now this DT is going to eat some mines and die. That's a little bit unfortunate, but that is the power of mines. Now more and more mines are being laid down. She knows that there's no they know, sorry, this is so confusing to cast. They know that there's no robo. Albert, you don't have to make an image, you can use Photoshop or something. But here we go, dropship coming into the main. This is a completely undefended main, just a single cannon. There are 3 Dragoons a little bit further back, but this tank is going to go down in the bottom right-hand corner. Now the probes have been pulled quick enough, but they're in a position to get through here. And Albert, I never said it had to be good. It could look bad, it could look terrible, and it will still be good. If you ever watch Pro League, they had some really bad cheerfuls on there. Even at the ASL, they have them. Now, it looks like there is no 3rd base coming in here for She. She feels a little bit behind here, and expanding to a 3rd base when your opponent's going fast Arbiter can be very difficult. Now, it looks like we are going to have a Vulture at the back of the base here. He's going to be cleaned up by a Dragoon and an Arbiter, but Pre has never really got his 3rd base economy going. So this is definitely interesting. I mean, there's a lot of mines in the main base. I would definitely say that Pre, compared to last game, is struggling a little bit. Like, She has killed so many probes throughout the course of this game, and Pre just hasn't been able to rebuild them quick enough that it means on 2 bases, Terran is actually pretty safe. Like, Pre could feel the need to do like a panic recall into the main, and if you do that, that's when things start to get hairy. But you saw from the last game, Pre is not the kind of player who will go and push if you don't force him to. Oh, now here we go. Oh, clearing with an observer, but very, very far behind the army. Now, these mines are kind of funny. I get the horrible feeling a Zealot is going to waltz into this mineral line at some point. We do have an Arbiter up here. Stasis is coming in. That's very, very delayed, that tech. But looks like we are going to have Pre pushing forward now. This map is quite easy for Terran to take a 3rd, but in the position we've got, it's actually quite difficult because Pre has a good number of units in the middle of the map, hasn't lost too much. She has been trading a lot of vultures away, but not really replenishing with tanks. Like, does she really only have 4 tanks? We're at 12 minutes into the game, and she has 4 tanks right now, so this isn't looking good for our Terran player. But let's see how this is going to go. Pre is going in. He thinks there is a third base. There isn't, so going to turn around. But the dropship coming into the third base here. I can hear a vulture shooting at something, but I have no idea what it is. Double tank drop. Now, this is risky. You don't have many tanks at the best of times. Mine's hitting a few of the units out the back, causing a lot of problems out here. Definitely problematic. This drop is very, very strong. 4 vultures coming in here to help this out as well. The vultures get taken down, having to kill his own pylon to get back in here, which is going to unpower his forge. And he's going to have gateways to push against these. Okay, so he's not going to scan this. It's a little bit unfortunate. But we do have a lot of probes in the main now. Luckily enough, there's no big mine drags. But look at this. The drop going into the natural. Pre is getting picked apart here by the strategic thinking of our Terran player, doing a lot of damage with these drops. Pre down to 42 probes again. And the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be for Pre. Like, where does Pre get his army? And look at this, the Vulture's going to get away. Oh, the dropship's going to go down, though, with 4 Vultures in it. A little bit unfortunate. But we've definitely had an entertaining series so far, I can say that much. I know we've got She checking the top right, we've got She also scanning for where the army is. We've got okay, this is very risky. If there's a mine in this mineral line, it's game over. But looks like because the cannons are there, he knows he should be safe. But I don't really understand why Pre has sent all of his army here, but I guess just to be careful. There is finally a command center heading off here to try and expand, which is pretty good. But Pre has got a pretty good army still. How many arbiters is there? There's at least 1. I thought I saw a second and third, but yeah, here's the second one. So it's only 2 arbiters. No, it's 3. There's going to be 3 stasis eventually when this push comes. Now, if she can manage to get the perfect EMP off, it's going to be very difficult. But just look at the very, very low tank count. That is the big barometer in TVP. Yes, getting all this probe damage good with vultures, but to do that, you're losing vultures. He's lost tanks to do it as well. And because he's only on 2 factories, with add-on, you're only getting 2 tanks at a time. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there is 12 tanks now, which isn't too bad. But here we go, the Arbiter coming into the third base. Are we going to have a recall here? Are we going to have a recall? Is it going to be a recall into the main? Yes, it is. There's turrets and mines, though. No, don't recall here! Oh my goodness. Okay, that was incredibly lucky. That could have been very, very deadly. But the Arbiter is going to go down to the turret if not careful. There's 3 observers here. None of them are going to make that into the main. But that was almost a lucky turret kill by Pre on that Arbiter, because he would have lost all his army. And no energy as well, but still very, very unfortunate. Looks like we are going to have Pre trying to hide a base again, this time at 12 o'clock. Not going for another main, which is where you would expect to go in a team of PvT, because you need the extra gate space. Some Dragoons getting caught off in the middle of the map, going to go down to the tank line. And I mean, she is playing this perfectly as you want to play Terran. You're essentially super turtling. Wraith here helping out as well. Got that earlier in the game to do with any shuttles, and now doesn't have to worry about it too much. She's going to get ready to take a 4th base as well. Pre's economy's not doing too bad. Now, unlike Tech, Pre has not gone for double upgrades. There's no double forge anywhere or anything like that. Never mind. Pre going to go for triple upgrades on these 3 bases. Now, this base in the top right is not going to be long for this world. The Nexus is not going to go down most likely, but the cannons that are trying to warp in will. The cannon here is not going to be enough to hold on. +2 upgraded vultures do kill cannons very, very quickly. So he will have to probably cancel all of these cannons at the very least. Let's check the upgrades of our Terran player. +2 attack is done, but +1 armor is not, and it's halfway away. And no +3 attack has started yet, so Oh, looks like we're going to have a Vulture. Are they going to be able to focus down the probe? No, the probe survives. This means that Pri, if he wants to, can take the top right now without any problems. But the army of Terran is building up more and more. And that becomes more and more problematic for our Protoss player. Okay, let's see how this is going to go. We've got double Arbiter here, one of them full energy, one very high up. Do we have any Arbiter energy upgrade coming in? Yes, we do. But that's coming in a little bit late, maybe. But Pri hasn't really been on 4 gas just yet, so not easy. Now, Pri could be making a mistake here by trying to expand too much. This Terran push is going to do a ton, but she isn't looking to push. She is just pushing with Vultures. Vultures are good to lay mines, but those tanks are just not leaving the base. This is going to be such a strong push when it eventually does come out. There's going to be so many tanks. Even the Vultures alone can clear up the units up here. The mine's doing so much damage. There are probes up here which are going to go down most likely. Look at this target firing coming in from these Vultures on the cannons. The Arbiter needs to go up and save the probes, but look at this scan going down as well. Stasis on the Vultures, not something you want to be wasting stasis on, but there are still 2 near full energy Arbiters anyway, so not the biggest of deals. These mines keep making me think that she is pushing forward, but look at the amount of Vultures coming out here. She is just Vulture man. And yeah, by pushing out with loads and loads of Vultures, you add more supply for tanks and Goliaths, but if you lose all of your Vultures, then you've got a problem, because all of a sudden the Protoss player can push you. But look at the supply difference. Pri is down 50 supply. It's kind of like the opposite of the last game, where Pri had a like insurmountable supply advantage. We've seen so many units die from Pri, and just Vultures die from she, so more cannons going to go down. This is more wasted money. The Nexus is going to be targeted down as well. There's absolutely no way that Pri is going to be able to get up here and defend this, and it looks, unfortunately, like Pri is going to lose this game. I don't really feel like Pri has a chance to win this game. It's going to be so difficult. Like, obviously she isn't pushing out with other than Vultures, just going up to 3-2, or just 3-1 even. Just look at the amount of tanks that are here. Like, these tanks are going to go forward. There's no Arbiter down here whatsoever. Both the Arbiters are up in the top right. A lot of the units are up here trying to clear these up as well. Lots of mines coming up. Lots of Vultures going into the retreat path as well. Like, these units are not getting out of here. Or they are, but it's going to take a very, very long time. But the Vulture's going to go into the top middle base again. And as well as pre-played in that last series, I think unfortunately the star player of DM is going to fall here. I mean, she just isn't pushing. Like, she is just, I mean, going for a 4th base, yes. 3rd base is done. I mean, look at the defense. There is no way, in any way, shape or form, that a recall is coming into any of these bases. Even the main is pretty well defended. The backside of the main isn't, so that could be a little bit of a vulnerability, but Rhea's lost so much. Doesn't even have the supply to go for some kind of thing here. And here we go, looks like the push has been activated. +3 attack, about to finish here. Oh, it just finished. Yeah, there we go, +3 attack just finishing. Pri having a lot of units out in the middle of the map, gonna get caught off guard. We've got mines going off on the Dragoons trying to retreat here. The Arbiter's coming in behind. One of the Arbiters goes down immediately. EMP taking the only remaining energy, which wasn't much to begin with, off of those Arbiters. And this is where she ends the game. Pri cannot hold on to this push. I mean, Pri is still up there in supply. Army supply, they're quite similar because the SCV count is a lot higher for she. But she's just pushing it to she's pushing here to get a 4th base. She is in such a good position, like, she doesn't need to throw away the game. Just sit there with all of your tanks. As soon as the Protoss player attacks you, you kill them. There's not many... Okay, here we go. Storms could be the big equalizer here, but is there enough? I'm not so sure there is. Storm's hitting the front tanks, but every other unit is dying. So much blue goo, so many storms, but there's nothing to follow it up. 77 supply is Pre. She has done it, winning the game after a very tense series for Valhalla team. Like, Pre is staying in the game. Pre doesn't want to give up, but there's no gateway farm. I mean, the forges are going to go down. The Nexus is going to go down. There's no possible way of doing any counterattacks with any units. There's an Arbiter up here which could go for a recall, but all of the bases, as we discovered before, are very heavily defended. And this is just, this is a little bit much. Now Pre is often one to valiantly stay in games until the last. And I think that's going to happen now. Looks like we are going to have... There's no energy for recall though, so this is just a fake. Oh no, and the EMP hits it as well. I mean, this is it, right? The Wraith is going to kill the Arbiter. The third base is down. The Natural is about to fall as well. The Arbiter falls. The top left base. There's nothing there. There's nothing in the top right either. Pre is barely mining off of one base now, trying to expand to the top left-hand corner. There is another Arbiter coming back with energy. I mean, of course, he does still have his main. There's still a lot of units in here. Now, this is a good move. Panic DTs can be very, very useful. Now, let's see what the Mind Drag's like. Not very good. Oh my god. Kaboom! There goes the DTs. Oh no, another Arbiter goes down. EMP, I think, hit it as well. Thank you. I guess that's Peds hosting me. Cheers, man. Hopefully your stream went okay, but I mean, this game is all but done. Here we go, another Arbiter gonna come in, gonna die before recall can possibly go off. The units now have zero way of getting out of the main. There's no gateways any other place on the map. Now, she, of course, mined out the Natural, mined out the main. Third base is gonna mine out soon as well. But this fourth base is completely brand new. And this style of Terran, as Albert says, definitely causing problems for Pre here. I mean, this is the ultimate patient style. Like, there was a guy in StarCraft 2, I think it was Thorzane, was called the Spoon Terran, because essentially you just used to play incredibly patiently and just wait for them to come to him and die. And they just expand a lot, right? This is the StarCraft 1 equivalent of the Spoon Terran. Like, before she got an incredible advantage, they never really pushed out whatsoever. I mean, look at this. Pre is going to expand to the top right. The Nexus in the top middle is going to go down. There's still no Arbiter. Can't even afford an Arbiter realistically at this point. Now, there is Storm on the high ground. That could be pretty good. The High Templar does go down though, so that's a little bit unfortunate. The base over here in the top left has been cancelled. Pre's probes are stuck next to a single cannon. And here we go. Looks like Pre is going to try and bust out of his main, but this has got to be the moment when he realizes the game's over. You cannot do anything against this amount of Terran. There's enough defense back here to defend against this as well. The Storms were good. But yeah, this is definitely the end. DM... Pre didn't want to give up. This is the closest I think they could have ever come to being Valhalla team, and they did it with style as well. That ZBZ and the PvP were very, very well played. And I mean, this PvT was pretty good, but unfortunately the Vultures just did a little bit too much. Pre continued to push him forward. Storm on nothing. The High Templar fall, and GG. DM fall as well. Pre taps out. Valhalla team take game number 5. So while that is unfortunate for our Chilean heroes here, our South American heroes in DM, Valhalla team come out on top in the end of the day. Now, one thing I would like to say is I'll give a massive shout out to Pre and Valhalla team because they had a chance of taking a full walkover over Valhalla team because they didn't turn up on time whatsoever, but they still did it. They played the series They lost, yes they lost, it's very unfortunate for them, but they showed an incredible good series to begin STPL Season 3, and I couldn't have asked for a better first series from them, so really, really well done. Now we are going to go to a little bit of a